have found some reclaimed oak and some reclaimed mahogany, as far as I can tell, and I am going to make a wooden cake knife. Now, I know what you're saying, a wooden knife. I know. We will just have to see if it does work. So I'm going to start by resawing this oak down on the bandsaw, and that clip was actually real speed, so I was very impressed at how fast the bandsaw was going through that oak. Then, to clean up the rough bandsaw cuts, I put a sanding disc in my vise, and yeah, just cleaned up those cuts, and as far as I can remember, that's about 40 grit paper, so it did do a good and fast job of cleaning up those cuts. Then I could trace the shape of the knife onto this little piece of oak. These teeth along the bottom, if that is the right word, I'm just going to cut out using the coping saw. I could have used the bandsaw, but I just felt as though it was maybe a little bit safer to use the coping saw. And I just put a fresh blade in the saw, and it left a really clean cut on the oak. And also, it didn't take too long at all, because the oak was nice and thin. And this outer curve I just cut on the bandsaw, and then I could get to filing the outside and then the inside, sort of like the teeth, using a round file. So as you can probably tell, this thing isn't much of a knife at the moment, and it certainly isn't going to cut any cake, because it is about 5mm, half a centimetre thick. So to chamfer it, I used a number 4 hand plane, but this really wasn't working particularly well for this. So I did switch over to a file. I'm just using a half round cabinet file here, and then in the end I actually found a spoke shaving works the best, so I was using my two, a metallic Stanley one and then a much older wooden one. And hopefully this is going to be sharp enough to cut some cake. The bench had got pretty covered in loads of tools, so I just took a minute to tidy everything up. Now on for the handle, and this is what I'm going to use this reclaimed mahogany for. So with the size marked up, I took it over to the bandsaw again and got it cut out. And then I could just give it a very quick plane. Yeah, you guessed it, and I used a plane for this. And then once again, I did a bit of resawing and resawed down the mahogany. Then I could glue up the handle, so there are two pieces that sandwich together the knife blade. And I used some spring clamps and some Gorilla Glue. And then it was just a waiting game for the glue to set. Once again, I could use my plane just to clean up that joint and remove all of the excess glue. And here you can see those 3 layers. Now for a bit of final shaping onto the handle, I used a prick stick to mark a circle on the end of the knife handle, and I once again used the coping saw to cut this out, and then I could file it to get a nice curve. And now time for some finish. Now my favourite food safe finish is some vegetable oil, and it really brought out the grain of the oak and of the mahogany. And here is the knife all finished. So we've got some coffee cake here, very tasty, and as you can see, the knife does a reasonable job of just cutting straight through it. And I got to tell you, I did have fun licking all the cake off that knife.